He's gonna start the party right now with a blues stylings. He comes to us from San Jose, California. He's the frontman and songwriter for the Crimson Blues Band. His main focus is Crimson Blues rock with strong influences from Delta blues and Mississippi Hill country blues. He has several albums. Please welcome Mississippi Slide himself, the one, the only, Mark Jeghers, closing us out tonight. Mark, good evening, kind sir.
Greetings, Earthlings.
Thank you. It wouldn't be anything you do here in Red Room without that phrase, kicking it off. All is right with the world now.
Yes, you know, I love just in the last minute here, just watching you narrowly avert burying yourself. It's very entertaining.
See, as a host who knows is that you learn just find but not cross it. See, you go out, fill them back in. See, that's how it works.
Yes, you ride the unicycle along the edge of the cliff. That's it, man.
And you never manage to completely fall off the cliff. Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's me.
Alrighty. How have you been?
I am doing pretty good there, Mark. How about yourself? What's new?
I'm doing okay.
What's new with the blues
scene?
It's
getting a little stuffy it's getting a little stuffy in this room because I turn off the fan to have minimal background noise while I play. But you know, you got to suffer for the Lord, right?
Indeed, yes. we persevere like nothing else, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
You got a number of different songs for us tonight. Let's get it. Let's get the party started, shall we? Which one you starting out with?
Okay. I'm going to start off with a tune that's it's going to end up on the retro album that's still in development. I think I've told you about it before. This is more of a wish list album where it's basically paying homage to a lot of the old school influences from way back in time. It includes a lot of my sort of CCM style acoustic folk material that I did back in the college days because I had no capability to do anything else at the time. It was before I discovered blues. But also, you know, a couple of recent tunes just to add a little variety and give it a strong kickoff are also being included in that album. And this is probably the song that will start off the album. It's called Long Way to My Home. Here we go. Hope you dig it.
Amen. Mark Jeghers here on Red's Room.
All right, let me push some buttons here to make sure I get this right. There we go. All right, now, you got to kind of just let the groove kind of take you here, okay? It's one of those unhurried openings.
party on a Friday night.
Here we go.
long way to my home, which is the
Yes, it is.
song in this sort of era because we're all home.
yeah, but and yet at the same time, this world is so
far away.
This world has become so crazed that it's not really our home anymore.
No, we are in the world, but we are not of it. That is for sure. As Scripture would say.
So yeah, it's really kind of a pilgrimage getting to our true home, and it's in some ways it's kind of a marathon. It's kind of a slog. You got to keep plugging. You got to keep at it.
Nick says I can't wait for his new album to come out. That song is very rocking. He should hook up with Joe Bonamassa.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. So that song, by the way, I got to tell you one thing about that song real quick. So back in 2020, in the summer, the first summer of the pandemic, I'm kind of stuck at home, and I came, I was kind of I cooked up this idea for the song, and so I proceeded to make a demo recording, so that I could show it to the band, which, is what evolved into this track that I played tonight. And in the process of recording this song, I needed to bring, I lugged a heavy amplifier up the stairs into my office to record with. And that night, a few hours later, I realized that I had injured my back, and I ended up having a couple of months of excruciating back pain. While the COVID buried medical system stumbled around like Keystone Cops to finally get to the point where I could go in surgically and have my vertebrae fixed up.
Oh no!
So I paid a high price for that to produce that song.
You got more than you bargained for with that song. Well, let me tell you.
I guess so.
I enjoyed every second of that song, and I enjoyed it even more.
Well, I'm I'm glad, because man, it wasn't easy to make it. I'll tell you that.
To make that one happen. See, if you don't suffer for their craft, you are sadly mistaken.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right.
So speaking of that new album, what are we thinking? Do we have a tentative release date for it yet at all, or?
Well, I'm not sure. There's a couple of tunes that are just about done in the post production, but there's a couple more that I want to put in that require some more work. So I'm hoping by the end of the year.
All right, very cool.
I'm hoping.
Christmas present from Mark and Crimson Blues to all of you is some brand new music, but you are now welcoming in. You are now welcoming into the Reds Room nightclub. That's right, the Reds Room nightclub, the late night party scene with the Crimson Blues. And Mark Jeghers is holding it down.
Yes. Yeah.
Musically,
your audio keeps cutting out, brother.
Does it really?
Yeah, every so often it's popping away, goes, and it's bad.
Oh, is it all right now? No. Yes. No.
It's good now. Just keep going and pray.
Okay, I'll check into it on break. But anyway, I'll check into it on this on break. How are we musically continuing the party now, sir?
Well, all right. So I'm going to do a couple of songs from the Crimson Blues studio album, which I'm trying to hold to the camera, but it's probably hard to see. This is our studio album called Tiki, which is named after the Tiki recording studio where we made it. I'm very, very pleased with how this came out because we had some fabulous talent helping us make it. Not just the bandmates, but the Christian couple who ran the studio, and a great local blues man who's the best of the best, named J.C. Smith, who produced the album, helped us do that. And so I'm going to share a couple of tunes from that. I'm going to start off with the opening track of that one, which is another fun one I dig. This is called Where Would This Poor Boy Be?
Mark Jeghers right now in Red's Room.
Walking to a snake pit that's snapping in my feet. There's thunder in the distance and there's trouble in the street. People meaning me no good, they're watching after me. If it wasn't for my Jesus, where would this poor boy be? Rosales on harmonica, huh? Rock my boat. You're the only rock I know, as far as I can see. If it didn't have my Jesus, where would this poor boy be? It wasn't for my Jesus, it was this poor baby. If it wasn't for my Jesus, it would be the end of me.
Awesome.
Mark Jeghers. Ah, it's so fun on a Friday night when we Friday night, because I know we're going to end with so much fun tonight.
Alrighty.
Great blues stylings. Now you mentioned that was the first of two that was going to come off that album. So what's the next one then?
Yes. The next one's coming. It's actually the next on the list. This is one that's this is a cover of a gospel blues tune originally done by Mississippi Fred McDowell.
Ooh.
He was from back in the day. He was one of the blues masters who he did regular blues, but also did a lot of gospel blues. And his sort of tagline, his little saying that he would always say is, "I don't do no rock and roll," because he was very devoted to blues and didn't want to move into the sort of rock and roll direction of the 60s there. So he was kind of a purist in that regard. And if you look him up, Mississippi Fred McDowell on YouTube, and check, you can find like old videos that are recordings of tunes that he did, and a couple of actually videos from TV appearances. And actually, he was really good. He had this. His music wasn't fancy, but it had this groove about it that was just magical.
Amen.
So anyway, so we got this song here. It's called "You Got to Move," because when the Lord gets ready,
you got to move.
You got to move.
You got to move.
You got to move, boss.
Mark Jeghers, Sharon Red's room. It's time to get moving now. Let's do this.
Hold on. There we go. There we go. Push the right button. guitar. How's that? You see that woman walking the street? See the policeman walking his beat. Oh, gets ready. You know you gotta move. You gotta move. You got to move. You got to move. Child, you got to move. Lord gets ready. You know you gotta move. You gotta move. You got to move. You gotta move. Oh, child, you know you got to move. When the Lord gets ready, you know you got to move. Wow, 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 wow. You gotta move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. When the Lord gets ready. I said when the Lord gets ready. When the Lord gets ready. Well, you know you got to. You got to. Got to try some tender neck. Oh, that's the wrong song. You got to move.
Oh, I love the way you ended that one, Mark. Oh,
You
man.
got to move, boss. That's how
You
it is.
got to move.
Wow.
If that doesn't encourage you to move, I have no idea what will.
I don't know. Can't help you after that, man. Can't help you.
Oh.
I'm gonna switch guitars here while we talk.
Nick says the most grittiest of all the gritties. Don't stop the party.
Alrighty. So,
David Larry Carroll says
there-
keep it up. We'll definitely do that.
alrighty. Well, at the risk of making a shameless plug, there's more where that came from on that Tiki album.
Uh-huh. How many different albums do you and Crimson Blues, how many you're up to now?
Well, quite a few, because I've got a couple of them here, but this is not the entire list. So there's Tiki, which is the studio album with a band. But then I've got two solo albums here. One's called The Blues Project, which is classic secular blues, and the other is Slide Ahead, which is Christian blues. These are my solo efforts, and so the retro that's in development will be the third. And then there's two other Crimson Blues albums from earlier days, Live and Kickin' and Live at Higher Power. And Higher Power is basically a local recovery program where we got lots of recordings. But since then, having learned over the years how to do better and better mixing, the mixes in the old albums are pretty good, but I'm really very pleased with this newer. This is the latest live album from just a couple of years back, and it's called Just the Way We Roll, and this is a 2-disc set. And the first disc is professional grade multi-track recordings of the original band lineup in the early years, and the second disc is the same thing with more recent years with a newer band lineup.
I'll be darned.
So
Crimson
There's
Blues.
quite a couple of CDs.
2.0, if you will.
Yeah, basically. And for that 2-disc live album, there's a very small quantity, literally a handful of special 3-disc editions of that album that's got extra stuff.
Oh.
Some of which are duplicates, like the same song recorded by the old and new band, but a couple of people expressed interest, so we made a limited special edition that way.
Oh, darn. What is the I know we'll go through the online stuff here in just a little bit. We're halfway through. Mark said we got about 3 more songs still to go. What is the online store where we can get our hands on some of this stuff?
The way people get that online is to find me on Facebook and contact me there, and then we basically I'm prepared to do all the shipping and stuff, and we can take PayPal purchases.
Oh, perfect.
So the best way to do that is to find a Crimson Blues Band page on Facebook and then message me through that with the instant messaging.
Indeed. I'm definitely going to have to do that.
The other thing is you can see a listing of what are all the albums if you look on the Crimson Blues website, which is crimsonbluesband.com. And there'll be a button at the top that says something like Get the Music or something like that, where you can see a list of all the different albums and a real brief bullet list of what they're like,
Fantastic. Let's keep this party rolling here on a Friday night. What else you got for us there, Mark?
Well, let's see. I'm switching guitars here. I'm going to do some other stuff. All right, this is one of our Crimson Blues flagship songs, which has not gotten onto a studio album, but it's on several of the live albums because it's like one of our favorite tunes to do, so it shows up a lot. This is a song that I did pretty early in the lifetime of the band. And it's about God's sovereignty, different facets of it. It's called The Hand of God. Here we go.
Mark Jeghers, Hand of God, here on Retro.
I always hit the button the wrong number of times. Here we go.
Jeghers. We're closing this thing. We know how to party on a Friday night, don't we? We're just closing this in
We're
style
doing it. We're doing
tonight.
it.
We are doing it
Yeah.
tonight. Mark Jeghers is here with us. So what do you guys got coming up? You guys got more gigs on the way, more songwriting coming up. What you guys got coming up in
Well,
a few months of time here?
the opportunities to play are slowly coming back, with the subsiding of the shutdown. And of course, here in Kami, California, they take 3 times longer than they should because they just love the control. But so little by little, opportunities to play are returning. For a while, I've been going and playing solo at some of the recovery programs that the band used to play at. And now one of those venues started having us back performing as a full band. And in a couple of weeks, a second of those recovery programs will have us coming back as a full-blown band. We're very pleased about that. So we've got a, and then there's a Christian bike ministry event up in Northern California about a month from now, which was offline, and it's basically that they would have a springtime camp out where all these Christian bikers would go up to Northern California and have a really awesome time and lots of Christian music and stuff. And they were shut down for 2 years because of the pandemic, and they're back this year, so we're very happy to be back to that. So
There you go.
little by little, these things are coming back online.
Things are looking up for you guys then.
Yeah, although it's gonna still, there's still some damage to repair. One of the really tragic results of the whole pandemic shutdown thing is that drug and alcohol recovery programs everywhere took an awful hit, and their attendance was absolutely devastated. Very few people are coming back now that they're able to, and probably because a lot of people fell off the wagon, without the support net that they had before.
Yeah.
But so we got to pray for them to start getting more people back in.
You're definitely
Because
true.
it's such a huge need that went that huge need went unmet for 2 years.
It did.
Yeah.
With the isolation and people turning to
absolutely.
their old vices, drugs and alcohol and all this sort of stuff, and mental illness kind of was through the roof as well. Just so many unfortunate side effects of this whole thing the last couple of years. But thank you and Crimson Blues Band for continuing to shine light into the darkness and continuing to go to those places to really minister, to be the hands and feet of Jesus. So thank you guys for doing what you do out there in the mission field, as it were.
Well, we want to thank the Lord for that. Honestly, we feel like it's kind of the special niche that God kind of designed us for. Around here, I don't know how it is in other parts of the country, but around this part of the world, most regular churches, they don't give the time of day to a band like us. We have few and far between opportunities to go play, because they got their own little routine going with music, and they don't want to bring in any outsiders, and unless it's like the Gaither Trio or something, and so a group like us, we're largely ignored by a lot of the mainstream quote-unquote church folks, and the people who pay a lot of attention to us are the addicts and the bikers, the people who have been beaten down, the people that society looks down on, some of which in fact are some of the most solid Christians I've ever met. Just my 2 cents.
Stuff. Couple more songs from Mark there. What's the next one you got for us?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do another one of the tunes from the Retro album. This is, as I mentioned on the Retro album, a big part of that album is taking like the old sort of acoustic worship tunes that I did back in my college days, because that's the only thing I had the capability to do, and I didn't have any good capabilities to record. And now, all these years later, this technology here, it costs less than if I had tried. If I had tried back in the day to put together just an 8-track studio with just 8 channels of multi-track recording, it would have been way over $20,000, and I would have had very unsatisfying results. For a fraction of that cost, this gear behind me does so much more. So I'm finally able to record those old songs the way I always heard them in my head, the way I wanted them to sound. So that's part of what's on Retro, and this next song is one of those. This song features my favorite beloved 12-string guitar a lot, even though I'm using an electric here, but the backing track's got a lot of the 12-string. That's my It's a vintage 12-string guitar that's about 40 years old. Um, I got that guitar when me and Mrs. Jeghers were dating, so it's got sentimental value that way.
Oh, very cool.
And it's and so, but the other thing I'll tell you about this song, the style of the song, this was my very weak, humble attempt to channel the acoustic 12-string brilliance of Greg Lake, because I was a big ELP fan back then.
There you go.
So, in a very minimal way, this is my way of paying homage to him, trying to channel that same kind of style. It's called Try Something Strange.
Art Jeghers there in Red's room. Hopefully he's not trying something strange. He's...
Have you found answers to the questions that you ask? What are you living for this time? Is it something that will last? Now, do you feel frustrated by the things you try to change? You might try something that may seem rather strange. Just talk to my friend Jesus. Talk to my friend. Can you change your own life? Or do you find it hard to cover up the past? What are you living for this time? Is it something that will last? How do you feel frustrated by the things you never change? Before you give up, just try something strange. Just talk to my friend Jesus. Talk to my friend.
Indeed, Mark Jeghers here on Red's Room. He said he was trying something strange, but they didn't seem so strange to me, though.
Well, but the reason that thought came to me when I wrote that song is back, a lot of people had the same experience as what Keith Green described in his own ministry, which is that he sought for truth with everything under the sun, every other religion except Christianity, every kind of drug, every kind of ism and this and that. And it's like, when he finally came to Christ, it was like the last thing that he would have ever thought he would have tried. So that's kind of what the song is driving at.
Good stuff right here on Red's Room. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here tonight. We have one final song coming up from Mr. Mark Jeghers. How are we ending the party tonight, sir?
We're going to wrap up one more song, which this is also on the Tiki studio album. Although, interestingly enough, the Hand of God that I did a few... What's that?
On that note, I've been told, before I forget, Nick was asking, is the Tiki album available on either Amazon or Spotify to stream by chance?
No, we don't have streaming versions. We've just got physical copies.
There you go. There's your answer. Continue on, sir. The hand of God.
We you know, one of the things that we need to get done is to get more of our stuff on digital platforms. But I'm one of those old dogs that's hard to teach new tricks, and I grew up with tactile records and discs in my hand. So I'm kind of old school that way. If you pardon the pun, I'm kind of retro. But okay, so anyway,
that's what you did there.
So this next song, it is on the Tiki studio album, but it's actually an older song that we recorded quite a few years ago. As also the Hand of God song was also. That's the Hand of God, and this next song I'm going to close with. They were both done in a special session back, I want to think it was in 2013, when we basically took over our church sanctuary for an entire weekend, converted it into a big recording studio, put both of our drummers in there on opposite sides of the room behind shields, and did a bunch of professional grade recordings, all of which are multi-track and all of which feature double drumming with both drummers. But those songs never had any place to call their home. There just wasn't there wasn't enough material to release an entire album. And so when we did Tiki, the studio album, I took this next song and I said, okay, let's get this one polished up, so it matches the same sound profile and sweetness of the other songs, and we'll include that on the Tiki album. So on the Tiki album is this next song, which is from all those years ago, and the hope, Lord willing, we have a bunch of more raw tracks that just need to be polished and edited. We have enough material for a second studio album if we can get back in the studio and do the post-production work. And about 4 more of those songs from many years back, including The Hand of God, will hopefully get included there. So,
fantastic. I was told
without even doing any more recording sessions, we've got more material that we can get released.
I love it.
If we just get it done.
More new stuff coming. We're looking forward to that. Lisa says, Mark, I'm reading the Gospel in Lyrics by Keith Green and Rich Mullins. So she's currently reading through that. And Red was wondering, before we get going with this next song, Red was wondering, are we ever going to see the beloved soup can guitar anytime on a future edition of Red's Room?
Well, I just have to remember to bring it in. So here's the thing. When I make set lists for performances, whether it's a live venue or whether it's an online event like this, I do this sort of rotation process where I make sure all the different songs get some coverage before I go back and repeat any stuff, so that I don't have too much redundancy. So that's the only thing holding that back. But of course, if we get some live opportunities to go down there, I can totally be tempted to pull that soup can to the front of the line. Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh wait. Hold on. Before we actually, we'll save it for the back end. We have one more question.
No, it's okay. You got a question?
Oh, you do it now? All right, we'll do it now. Okay. I'm being told you have a book. You're also an author by chance.
Oh. I do. Yeah, I was thinking about doing another shameless plug, and I thought, well, I better not get too tacky about this. But yeah.
Oh no, go right ahead. This is your chance right here.
And it's called Rockin' the Blues Until They're Crimson. It's not a very long book. It's about 80-something pages. And basically what it is, it's just a collection of short essays about Christian blues. My experiences in life, some of the things that were formative to me, that have shaped me. It's basically different aspects of my journey through life as a Christian blues musician. It includes color photography in there. We got really cool color pictures of things that the band did over the years. Some anecdotes and stories. Some discussion about my philosophy about music as a Christian. A little bit of the history of blues and how the gospel message intertwines so well with blues. And so that's there, and you can get that from me either when I'm around in person or the same way as the albums, which is to reach out through the Facebook group, the Crimson Blues Band group on Facebook.
Fantastic.
And no, I'd love to move some of that book because I finally completed the book just before the pandemic shut down and then had no opportunity to ever put them
Oh,
out anywhere. So, I haven't moved a whole bunch of them yet. I've got a whole bunch in my garage, and my wife would appreciate if you guys helped me clear some out.
amen to that. Let's all do that. Let's all help Mark out there. Let's
Yeah.
go get
Amazon
one of those.
Kindle.
That's a good
Yeah.
rate.
Amazon
Actually,
Kindle.
I believe, yeah, actually, yes, it is available on Kindle. I just have to go remember the link of how to get it.
Oh, we're done.
Or
I've got a
actually,
book on Kindle
if
too.
you
And
go
it's
on
great.
Kindle,
You get money back.
if you go, in fact, if you just look for the title "Rockin' the Blues Until They're Crimson" on Amazon's Kindle pages, you'll probably find it there. So actually, it is available on Kindle.
Awesome.
There you go. All right, Mark, take it away. Final song. Here we go tonight on
All
Red
right,
Room.
so we're gonna close out with his last song. This is another. This, like I said, this is on the Tiki album. This is sort of a mellow, swingy Chicago blues tune. This is one that we, like I said, this is part of those really cool church sanctuary sessions back in 2013. And a very special thing about this song is if you listen very carefully at the beginning of the track, you can hear our lead guitarist at the time, Brad Marsh, meowing like a cat. So listen carefully. Whoops. Wrong one. Sorry about that. Hold on. Let me go get it. Here we go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Two, three, four.
That's nice. Oh yeah, I like that.
Further on down the road, all our tears will be gone away. Further on down the road, all our tears will be gone away. Gonna see the face of Jesus in the night time and day. Further on down the road, all our tears will be gone away. Further on down the road, all our tears will be gone away. Gonna see the face of Jesus in the night time and the day. All our pain and our sorrow, we're gonna wash away like rain. All our pain and our sorrow, gonna wash away like rain. Yeah, there'll be no more suffering. Finally free from all our sin. 2, 3, 4. Here's Brad Marsh on guitar. Isn't that great? Someday, people. Yeah, someday. There's Rich Greenwood on harmonica. Someday, the people, we're gonna finally be set free. Someday, people, we're gonna finally be set free. Gonna have a celebration that's including you and me. You are invited. Further on down the road. 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 Yeah, we're gonna lose that heavy load just a little further down the road. Help me out now. Further on down the road. We're gonna sing that amazing grace. Further on down the road. We're gonna sing that amazing grace. Gonna see my precious Jesus. Gonna see your face to face. Come on, yeah. Hey! Down the road. We're on down the road. We're on down the road. Yeah. Lose that heavy load. Just a little further down the road. Come on, boys. Sing with me now. Come on. Further on down the road. 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 Gonna lose that heavy load just a little further down the road. All right.
Woo!
That, they say, is that.
That is that. Oh,
Yeah.
my. Mark Jeghers,
All right.
lead singer of Crimson Blues. What a night tonight. Thank you, Mark, for joining us.
Oh, you guys, thank you for having me here.
Oh, thank you for
And-
blessing us
as-
with your talent, for closing us as only you can do here with a
And-
great...
And listen, as always, so much thanks to Red. I mean, we lose count of how many concerts this has been now, but he makes this happen again and again, and it's spread around the world. And I love this chance to support and play with you, Red. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Concert number 139 tonight as we are praising
Isn't that
God
something?
one
Isn't that
concert at a
something?
time. I'll be darned.
He's always there behind the scenes, making it happen, and it's great.
We'll hear from Red here in just a second, but before we do, Mark,
Yeah.
remind us one more time the places where we can check out your music online and keep up with you and the band and what you got going
Okay.
on.
All right. So you can connect with me on Facebook, which is simply Mark Jeghers. But the easier thing to do first is to look up on Facebook. Look up our band page, Crimson Blues Band, 3 words together, Crimson Blues Band. The exact same name can find us on YouTube, where we have a very voluminous, big collection of videos that we've prepared over the years. You can also, if you go to my personal website, where you can find me and connect with me, and there's a little bit of hooks to music stuff there also, is t4p.com. The number 4 and the letter P. That stands for Technology for People. But probably the easiest way is to start by looking up Crimson Blues Band, all one word, on both Facebook and YouTube.
Mark, great to have you with us, my friend.
And then from
Always
there, there's links to other places. If you poke around from there, you'll find links to other places, other ways to reach out to me.
Always great to close out the night with you, Mark. Many blessings to you, my
Oh,
friends.
thank you.
Thank you for ending this night as only you can, my brother. Thank you for the great blues stylings,
thank
as
you,
always.
man.
Always appreciate you.
Well, we appreciate you too, man.
Mark
Love
Jeghers.
what you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Blessings over there on your own ministry too.
Thank you. We're rolling.